Howdy, folks. I'm the Reddit Fairy.
I'm Amber.
And today, instead of leaving oily rags of gasoline in your ears for exchange in for teeth, I'm going to read you Reddit stories.
I am so confused.
What do you mean? I mean, isn't that what your parents left you whenever you had your teeth?
No, they give me coins.
Oh. Oh.
Like $1 or
Coins?
something.
Not oily rags of
No.
gasoline in your ear? I might have some conversations to have later. And here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Walking Out of My Cousin's Wedding? You might think this is bad, but not in the way you think it is. I'm a 45-year-old female, and I was recently contacted out of the blue by my cousin John, a 47-year-old male, his daughter Emily, 23, who wanted to meet more family after he's been no contact with all of us since his wedding about 25 years ago. He was apparently furious with her when he found out and forbid her from any further contact unless we all apologize for walking out of his wedding. John had been engaged to Rachel for about 2 years, and she was a very lovely and sweet all around. The people in the family loved her, and they really tried to make her feel like a part of the family. They'd welcome her to holidays and birthdays for all the family, and we threw a party for her on her birthday. We didn't hear from them for a month or two leading up to the wedding, but we figured they were just busy with last-minute planning. Foreshadowing. And none of us were in the wedding party. On their wedding day, all of us, about 20 cousins, aunts and uncles, his parents were deceased, turn up at the venue and see signs for John and Christine's wedding. We thought that we were in the wrong place initially until John came out and confirmed with us that this was the right wedding hall. John said that he had called off the engagement with Rachel a month prior after reconnecting with an old flame. And they decided to use the date to get married instead. We were all confused and upset. And while John was trying to calm everyone down, I went and used the venue's phone to call Rachel. She said that 2 weeks before she had caught John cheating with Christine. And that's what he means by an old flame was reignited in his pants. And ended things right then and there. She also said that John had refused to cancel what they could for the wedding and get back what money they could. Instead, he used them towards this new wedding with Christine. Most of the family and I just then walked out, saying that we were not going to stay for this bait and switch wedding, especially after he had treated Rachel so horribly and not even telling anyone that he was marrying someone else. He said that it shouldn't matter who he was marrying. And that as his family, we had to stay and support him. We didn't. So he hasn't spoken to us for 25 years. Am I the jerk for walking out of a wedding and not apologizing even after 25 years? All right, folks. What do you think of this one? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
Like, at what point in time do you are you so steeped that you must travel forward? You know, it's just like the idea that he's like, well, we already got the venue reserved here. Well, we may as well put it to good use. I wonder if he's still married to this woman. It's a really interesting question because I have no idea. Like, the OP doesn't mention if they're still married, but it's a very odd thing to think that you can just swap brides out and no one's going to notice the difference. Like, no, and everyone's just going to be fine with it. Someone who the family was, close to, right? And when they got the other half of the story, they were like, yeah, we don't really like what you've done here. I think it was really in very, very, very poor taste for John to do this, and I think that I don't think OP owes John an apology because they didn't do anything wrong. John kind of did have a bait and switch, wedding here. So yeah, I don't think OP's in the wrong, and I think that that John here is just did something that was really in poor taste. But I'd be curious what you folks have to say. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. Emily is 23 and doesn't need her dad's permission to get to know the family. Exactly. John is a bad person who had no right to demand anything from anyone. And OP replies, yes, we're all getting to know Emily now and are welcoming her back to the family. Her relationship with us and her father trying to stop it are separate issues, though, so I didn't want to bring it up too much. It's just what brought all this up again. Well, good luck, OP. I hope that you're able to reestablish a relationship with Emily. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my brother's fiance the truth? Yes, I guess we are having wedding bells in the air today. I'm a 21-year-old female and I have an older brother, a 29-year-old male, who has been divorced twice and is about to get married to his fiance of 2 years, a 26-year-old female. And she has a party celebrating the fact that she got engaged a few days ago. I was invited, but my brother wasn't, since she wanted to have a little party with her friends, and since she wanted to bond with me, her future sister-in-law. She also invited me. So I started chatting with her and her friends, and later in the night, we started to get a little tipsy. Then, suddenly, she started to talk about my brother, stating that she couldn't believe that he never got married before, since he is such a handsome man. But it didn't make any sense that she said that, since he was divorced twice, and one of his former wife had children with him. Then she started talking about him and saying things that just weren't true, like the fact that he was a lawyer, even though he works at a hotel as a janitor, and that he was making $150,000 a year when he wasn't even making minimum wage. How do you lie about something like that and not expect it to come out in the wash? You know, I'm starting to suspect there's a reason he's been divorced twice. Just call it intuition of the Reddit fairy, if you will. But I'm starting to suspect that there's probably some deeper reason why his relationships fail. I don't know. I couldn't put a definite finger on the exact reason, but I do know that there's probably something related to this. At this point, I was just shocked because of how all the different things that she said that she was talking about and how many were just untrue. So I asked her who told her all of this, and she said it was my brother. I was confused as to why he would say that. I mean, it doesn't really... I mean, we all know why he would be lying about this, right? But I knew that before his previous marriage that he had verbally abused his wife, so I knew either way I just couldn't let this slide. So I brought it up to her in the bathroom upstairs and told her everything, and I mean everything. She looked shocked. And after I finished telling her, she went downstairs, got her stuff together, and said that she felt sick and left. I don't blame her for feeling sick and leaving. That was a lot to drop on somebody all at once. The next day comes around and my phone was blowing up with messages. Missed calls and DMs from my family and my brother asking about what happened. It turns out that after she left, she went to her house where my brother was at the time, confronted him, and broke up with my brother and then kicked him out. My family and brother are calling me an insensitive bee and a homewrecker. What did you do? Sleep with her? I don't think that's what happened here. I don't feel bad about telling him the truth, but I do feel bad about ruining his engagement. Am I the jerk? Well, first off, OP, your first mistake in all of this is feeling bad that you ruined your brother's engagement. You saved this poor woman from a life of some very traumatic experiences that she was going to be suffering from in the near future. It does not sound like your brother is a real winner here. I mean, yeah, you love your brother. And that's understandable, and because people family, it tends to be sometimes you might have a shady family member, but you still love them because they're your family member, right? And they might do shady things and you're willing to overlook it in ways that you might not be for other people, right? Whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not going to talk about the ethics of it. I'm just saying that tends to be the way it is for people. We tend to overlook things that we wouldn't never normally overlook for other people. So I can't blame you for, still wondering if you've wronged your brother. But let me tell you, you didn't. Your brother did this to himself. He wanted to prop himself up with lies. He used deceit to convince someone to marry him. She was marrying someone who she did not know she was marrying. And finding like the fact that he has a child with in another relationship is, that alone, one of those, even with just one of these different facts, would be enough to basically kind of call off a wedding. But what is he thinking? Like on most wedding certificates, or at least the ones that we signed, we had to acknowledge whether or not we had been married previously. What was he going to do? Lie on that? Maybe that's not the same everywhere. Let me know if that's the same wherever you are, because I'm really, really curious now, because I don't know how he was going to continue to propagate this lie for any extended period of time.
You could just be like my mom and think it's fine to lie to the federal government and they won't catch up on it.
Yeah, Amber has a story about that. Apparently, Amber's mom actually lied on her wedding certificate about her age. So, yeah, I mean, in sometimes, like, I guess, like, in the past, it wasn't as big of a deal because it was harder to catch people telling untruthful things. But now, I mean, I just don't even see, like, how he would even get away with this at a certain point. So yeah, OP, I think you did the right thing here, and you saved this woman from having a very miserable divorce. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, you saved that girl's life. She deserved to know who she was agreeing to marry. Also, what did the brother think was going to happen? If you tell someone lies, but don't tell people who know the truth lies, they're likely to out your lies whether they mean to or not. Yeah, exactly. We need to normalize warning others about bad partners. It's not talking bad about people or sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. It's about empathy and keeping other people safe. Yeah. All right, folks, so it's tea time. So yesterday, at the very, very end of the video, we said that we had mint tea. So if you missed that, then yeah, we had mint tea yesterday. But now I will let you guess what kind of tea we had today, or have today. So Amber, what kind of tea do you have?
I have mint tea.
Amber has mint tea. Can you guess what kind of tea I have? At the moment, I think my super silly riddle book has disappeared. Oh, wait, no, I found it. It was behind my back. That was actually not planned at all. Apparently it's been there all day long. Amber was hiding it.
I didn't hide it.
Amber is also one to bend the truth. How can you avoid falling hair? Jump out of the way. What?
I don't get it.
I don't know if there's anything to get. How can you avoid falling hair? Jump out of the way. Yeah, I mean, that's the joke, folks. That is the joke that we're going. I mean, it's not untrue, right? If a hair is falling down, then yeah, if you jump out. Oh wait, because hares jump. Rabbits, hares.
Oh, is it that HARE?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was HAIR, but I can't be sure. All right, and so if you're curious, and I almost did it again. I was like realizing, I was like, oh, I haven't taken a sip of my tea yet because I just went straight for the joke book. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna change over to stories now. And then I realized, oh wait, I haven't even told people what my tea is yet. So I have kept you in suspense for long enough. I too had mint tea. Let's move along. Enough of this silliness. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for embarrassing a lunch thief at work? This OP is a hero, folks. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to start off like that, and you'll find out soon enough why. So, pretty much the title. I don't think that I'm the jerk here, but I've been getting some flack for it, so I really want to clear this up. So I started a new job recently, and I work in a small studio. There are several others in the building. Think of an open plan office with sections assigned to each studio. The person I had an altercation with doesn't work in my studio, just for your information. Well, I eat lunch at 1-ish, and most people eat at 12. I came down early to eat at 12, and I made some coffee while at the counter and noticed my Tupperware was in the sink. Empty. Imagine my surprise when I turned around and saw a man that I did not know sitting down at a table with my food on his plate. He had just stuck it in the microwave. Acting rashly since I was mad, I sat down next to him and said, "Hey, that looks good. Mind if I try it?" Then, before waiting for an answer, I yanked the plate away from him and snatched the fork out of his hands. He just blinked in shock, as did the other people that were there, and I just started eating. He then quite loudly asked what I thought I was doing, and I replied, this was actually much better when I first cooked it. It probably lost some flavor in the fridge. He got on pretty quickly that it was my food and went a little red. I then asked him where he got the gall to steal someone else's lunch, and then asked him what they were doing when they took it back. He stuttered out some nonsense about not knowing it was mine, and I replied, well, you knew it wasn't yours, right? He just mumbled something like an apology, and I said, that's no problem. It was nice that he warmed up to me at least. In an admittedly B tone, then he just got up and left, and the people were just sitting in silence. 2 of the silent watchers, maybe his mates, I don't know, told me that I was rude to him, just almost as rude as someone who steals your lunch. And that there had been a nicer way to go about it. There could have been a nicer way to go about it, but I think OP went about it the way that we all hope someday to go about it, if that happened to us. I then told them to think about how they would feel if someone ate their food before saying that they should focus on their lunch and I'll focus on mine. Well, it's been a little awkward since lunch, and I have the impression that a few people are talking bad about me behind my back. Maybe I could have been nicer for sure. I still don't think I was in the wrong, but tell me, Reddit, am I the jerk? Edit. Okay, this blew up. I just wanted to drop an edit here to say thank you so much for all the comments, support, and awards. It's great to know that I wasn't completely overreacting. Maybe I should just chat to some of the people and see if the food thief has struck before, and we'll update if you're interested. Otherwise, additional info, I saw some comments saying that I should go to HR, but my studio doesn't even have an HR and the perp doesn't work for the same place. We do have a de facto office manager, but I don't want to take it further since I'm still new here on probation, and I think my reaction might have been enough. Also, to add a little unnecessary fuel to the fire, the lunch that he took was enough for 2 days. I mean meal prep in bulk. He plated the lot. Didn't even wash the Tupperware either. I mean, did you really expect someone who just stole food to wash the Tupperware? That would be like the thief coming into your house in the middle of the night and vacuuming for you. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
You know, like I said at the beginning, I think OP was a real hero in this situation. This is like a completely, I don't know, seeing someone with your food, I can completely understand why they would get mad at them and then be like, hey, give me my food back. Stop stealing people's food. And maybe OP's right. Maybe they could have handled this a little nicer, but it's not like OP resorted to violence. It wasn't like OP resorted to insults. OP just sat down beside them, took their plate back, and started eating, right? And maybe they said some stuff in there too, but it wasn't overly insulting or anything. It was just, hey, don't steal my food, don't be this way, right? So yeah, I mean, if OP had resorted to being like, hey, and had taken down a fire extinguisher and attacked him with it or something like that, yeah, I'd be like, hey, no, the food wasn't worth that, But this was really just like, oh, OP took their food back and started eating it in front of the person. Just all I would have done differently in the situation, probably if it had been me, is I would have sat down beside him and been like, oh, hey, thanks for warming up my food for me. And then pulling it away from them. then they would have probably caught on a little faster, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't think OP did anything that was out of line here. Let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck.
All I can wonder is if the people who thought OP was a jerk are other food thieves.
They might be. I mean, I don't know. I think that they were probably just his friends.
It could have been his friends, but they could also be food thieves who don't want to be publicly humiliated, because that's the most effective way to stop people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with Amber here. I mean, she has a point about, stopping someone like this. Public humiliation is a harsh punishment. And it's not an undeserved punishment here, but it's sure to stick. And it'll make them think twice before taking someone else's food. Hopefully. Not the jerk. You are an absolute baller. Honestly, you handled it in an epic fashion. Don't think anybody is going to mess with you from now on. Don't worry about the whispers. I reckon that most people will deep down respect you more. Well, at least I would if I worked there. Good job. LOL. How dare you be rude to a thief? People doing bad things deserve to be called out. If he's embarrassed, maybe he shouldn't take food that isn't his. Just mind your own business, OP. People will move on soon. Yeah. Some other drama will come along. Maybe some other person will steal someone else's food, and then they'll have something else to talk about. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving us a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all on Monday. I got it right today. Bye.
Bye.